The desperate gamble captain Sarah Martinez stared at the holographic auction display with bloodshot eyes, her coffee growing cold in the recycled air of Station Meridian's salvage quarter. 3 days without sleep. Living on stimulants and desperation, she scrolled through lot after lot of space junk. Decommissioned cargo haulers, stripped mining barges, and reactor cores with more radiation leaks than a Chernobyl memorial museum. Her credit account showed a brutal truth. 127 units remaining. Enough for maybe 2 weeks of docking fees, or one decent salvage haul if she could find something worthwhile. The Starbreaker, her modified salvage vessel, was burning through fuel faster than she could afford, and her crew of 3 was already grumbling about delayed payments. The auction house buzzed with the usual crowd of scavengers, corporate representatives, and desperate freelancers like herself. Most were eyeing the premium lots, military surplus with actual resale value. Sarah couldn't compete with their deep pockets. She needed a miracle, or at least a very lucky gamble. That's when she saw it. Lot 847, unidentified vessel, Kepler sector origin. Previous owner, Terran Defense Force, classified division. Starting bid, 50 credits, no reserve. The thumbnail showed a sleek ship unlike anything in current human design catalogs. Its hull was dark gray, almost black, with strange angular sections that seemed to bend light around them. The technical specifications were mostly redacted, showing only basic mass and dimension readings. What caught Sarah's attention wasn't what the listing said, but what it didn't say. No ship classification. No manufacturer details. No mission history. Just a stark warning in red text. Vessel subject to quarantine protocols. Boarding not recommended without specialized equipment. Marcus Webb, her chief engineer, peered over her shoulder at the display. A weathered man in his 60s with prosthetic hands from a reactor accident decades ago. He had seen every type of ship that flew between the stars. Never seen anything like that, he muttered, adjusting his thick glasses. Those hull angles aren't aerodynamic for atmospheric flight, and they're not efficient for space travel either. It's like someone designed it for physics that don't exist. Sarah's pilot, Elena Vasquez, joined them at the terminal. Young, brilliant, and cursed with more student debt than 3 normal lifetimes could pay off. She survived on quick reflexes and quicker thinking. Look at those energy readings. Elena pointed to a small graph in the corner of the listing. The ship's been powered down for 2 years, but it's still showing quantum fluctuations. That's impossible unless what? Sarah asked. Elena shrugged. Unless it's got some kind of perpetual motion system, which violates about 6 fundamental laws of physics. Tommy Chen, their communications specialist and the youngest crew member at barely 22, bounced on his feet with nervous energy. My uncle works salvage for the Defense Force. He told me about ships like this. Black projects that went wrong. Experimental vessels that came back from deep space missions different. Different how? Marcus asked. Different like the crews couldn't remember where they'd been. Different like the ship's computers contained data that made no sense. Different like some of them kept flying themselves long after their crews abandoned them. Sarah studied the listing more carefully. The auction timer showed less than 5 minutes remaining, and no other bidders had shown interest. 50 credits would leave her with 77, barely enough for fuel to wherever she decided to tow this mystery ship. But something about the vessel called to her. Maybe it was desperation, or maybe it was the same instinct that had kept her alive in the salvage business for 12 years. This ship was special. Hidden behind all those classifications and warnings was something valuable. The auctioneer's voice echoed through the hall. Lot 847, unidentified vessel. Current bid stands at 50 credits. Fair warning. This item comes with significant liability waivers. Do I hear 60? Silence filled the auction house. Professional salvagers knew to avoid Defense Force black projects. Too much paperwork. Too many questions, and usually too much danger for whatever profit might be inside. Sarah's finger hovered over the bid button. 50 credits was a fortune she couldn't afford to lose. But it was also her last chance at staying in business. The Starbreaker needed major repairs, her crew needed paying, and the bank was already sending polite but threatening messages about her ship's mortgage. Going once, the auctioneer called. Elena grabbed Sarah's arm. Captain, I've run the numbers 3 times. Even if that ship contains nothing but scrap metal, the advanced alloys in that hull design would be worth at least 1,000 credits. Going twice. Marcus nodded slowly. The quantum readings alone suggest exotic matter worth a fortune to the right buyer. And if it really is some kind of experimental propulsion system, Tommy was practically vibrating with excitement. Captain, this could be the score that changes everything. One good haul and we're set for years. Sold to bidder 77 for 50 credits, the auctioneer announced. Sarah realized she had pressed the button without consciously deciding. Her heart pounded as the transaction processed, reducing her account to 77 credits and making her the proud owner of one mysterious, potentially dangerous, definitely expensive to maintain spacecraft of unknown origin. The auctioneer's assistant approached with a data pad full of waivers and liability releases. As Sarah signed document after document, each more ominous than the last, she wondered if she had just made the smartest decision of her career or signed her crew's death warrant. Congratulations, the assistant said, handing her the ship's location coordinates. The vessel is currently in Impound Bay 7 at the outer station ring. Fair warning. 3 previous salvage teams have attempted to board. 2 turned back immediately. The third team... The assistant paused uncomfortably. What happened to the third team? Sarah asked. They spent 6 hours aboard, then emerged claiming they needed to speak with theoretical physicists about the nature of time. They've been in psychological evaluation ever since. As Sarah and her crew walked toward the docking bay where the Starbreaker waited, she felt a mixture of terror and excitement that reminded her why she had chosen this life. In a universe full of unexplored possibilities, she had just purchased a piece of the impossible for the price of a decent dinner. Whatever secrets that ship contained, whatever dangers it might pose, whatever opportunities it might offer, they were hers now. And Sarah Martinez had never been one to back down from a challenge, no matter how terrifying the odds.